back. I know it's been a million years since I said that we were coming out with this next tutorial. A lot of stuff has been going on, so it did take a little bit longer than expected, but we are back and we are ready to go with the Alice in Wonderland tutorial. This is what it will look like when it has been completed. I have gotten everything pretty much set up. If you haven't been with us long here at Bucilla Babe, what we do is I pretty much get everything sequined, embroidered, and finished. That way it can just be kind of like a step-by-step. If you need instructions on embroidery or any of the other things like sequins or how to put certain things together, you can check out my other videos. Certain things like lining or putting the stocking back on, we will actually also have separate videos for, but if it is a specialty thing that does go specific to the kit, like these roses right here, these ones, these guys, I will put that in the video, and I will also make a separate video that you can just kind of go back and look for so you're not searching through the video. So this is going to be steps 1 through 25. I kind of like to do them in spaces like that, 1 through 25, 23 through 50. I try to do it that way. So this one is going to be 1 through 25. It is a little bit different, but I did want to get it started. I've got my paddle of everything separated. And this one did have a lot of sequins and beads to it. So it did, like I said, take me quite a bit longer. So I would definitely say that this is more of a intermediate to expert kit. If you are a beginner, you can definitely do it. But I would definitely say it's a little bit more challenging. Get your fluff ready. We are going to be stuffing things. I got my bag 1 through 25. So normally I do like to have the back done before we start with the sequins and any embroidery that needs to be done, just so we can kind of like continue. Like I said, I do like to have the embroidery and pieces done just so I can kind of show you how the kit goes together and kind of go forward from there. So the stocking piece was piece 1. And in order to do that, in order to get all the sequins and embroidery done, I did have to put some of the kit together. So the stocking, excuse me, the stocking is piece 1. This first brown piece is 2, 3, the door is 4, the doorknob is 5, this is going to be 6, the other dirt down here is going to be 7, and then the other, I guess, dirt piece or bush piece is going to be piece 8. So the reason why I had to add those is because there was these little like twinies that go on here. I thought there were more of them when I put it together. I thought there was more down here, but there were not. I thought there was more over here and that it connected up here. There wasn't, so I actually put more of the pieces together than I should have. But I did do piece 1 through 8 already. So we are going to start with piece 9, which is going to be her hand. For some reason, whenever it's like peachy felt, it almost seems like you can't really see it. Like it's very see-through. So I do like using a beading needle. Got my number 9 needle off here. And on this stuffed hat that I use here, I will put a link to down below so that you guys have it. on the instructions, we are going to stuff the arm. So the easiest way is probably going to be to start at the very top of the arm here, and I'd probably pin it down. So this is just going to get appliqued on. I would have thought that it would have been stuffed, but apparently it is not. So we're actually going to go right into the next step, which is step 11, and that is going to be the back of the dress. So technically it's like the inside of the back of her dress. And we are going to applique it and lightly stuff it. I am going to pin this one down as well. It is a rather big piece. And I just want to make sure that I get it pinned right. And I know it looks funny because that covers the end, but even in the picture here, it does cover, ooh, where am I? Her thumb over here. So we are about where we're supposed to be. So I'm going to make my sandwich, like how I like to call it, my sandwich. Here's all my little blue pieces from where I cut that out. So I'm going to start at this end. And I'm basically going to make a pocket. And then I'm going to stuff all my stuffing in it. And then I'll sew it that way. And that'll help me. I'm going to move this down here so I don't pull it any weird direction. My God, I have that Stranger Things song stuck in my head. You guys all know exactly what I'm talking about because it's on every freaking video and Instagram right now. And I was watching Instagram before I started doing this to like pump myself up to create some content. I caught it, and now I'm sitting here while I'm sewing, and it's like just playing over and over in my head, and I can't get it to stop. So this is kind of another one that I went ahead and did ahead. So there is the legs that she has. Obviously she has legs, but I went ahead and sewed the stripes onto her tights. So in this case, 12. So the sock is 12 and the stripes are 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So you will sew the stripes on to the sock, and then piece 18 is going to go on the back, and you are going to sew back to the front first. Well, after you sew your stripes on, obviously. You are also going to stuff the leg stripes. I used really little tiny stitches and I stitched all the way around. I even like whip stitched it on the sides. You can see on the back. I just used very small stitches, and I actually used my beading needle. So I'm going to start from the top up here on the top of my leg, because we're actually going to enclose the bottom with with a shoe. I'm going to use my beading needle. I really like using my beading needle a lot when putting stuff together, and that's only because I feel like I can get the stitches a lot smaller than with my appliquing or like my embroidery needle. It doesn't really matter which one that you use. It can kind of, I guess, use whichever one you feel most comfortable with, but that's just kind of how I like to use it. Like I said, I just feel like I can get the stitches a little bit smaller and a little bit closer together without it doing so much damage to the fabric or the felt. where the feet will go. So let's cut out the shoes. Worst comes to worst, we are going to just go ahead and take off our dotted lines here, because this is the only way that I can think of to make it work without getting too crazy. So you are basically just cutting the stamp off. Don't go too far or you will cut through your felt. Normally you can just kind of like pick it off. It'll come up a little bit and then you're just gonna cut it with your scissors. You can also take a little pin, pull it up off of the pin, and it'll come off, but we got it off pretty well. And what we are going to do is we are just going to put the shoe down a little bit farther here where they want us to go. And we are going to do the same thing that we did with the previous one. We will go ahead and stick the top on first and try to get it as close to the edge as you possibly can. You can stretch it a little bit. Don't stretch it too much. But hopefully that back, we can hide some of that white. The patch was a bust. It did not work at all. It made it look like her foot, her one foot was like 4 sizes bigger than the other foot. So that was definitely a no-go. What is that? Okay. So we had to take that apart. I just wish these shoes would have been just a little bit bigger. I'm gonna go ahead and put one through my sequin because for some reason my sequin looks like it wants to come off. There's no shame in putting a little extra stitch in there. My felt is kind of like wanting to act like it's coming apart. It's starting to fray a little bit, so just be careful. Doesn't look too terrible. It could be worse. My back is still connected to the patch we tried, so let me get that off. So I think we might be able to make this work. It is kind of covering it up a little bit. Push this down. And I'm just using my needle to kind of push it down in there, squish it. And if you need something better, I always use my scissors too. Push it down in there. Make it fit. So that actually went a lot better than I thought it would. Okay. So now her other shoe is on there. Hooray, finally. Okay, so I do need to kind of trim some of these fuzzies. Okay. So her other shoe, holy moly, is on there. So we are going to just sew down the tops of the legs, the tops of the thighs here, and leave the rest of everything unattached because you want it kind of like she's falling and her little legs are hanging out from her dress. We all remember the scene, if you've seen Alice in Wonderland, where she's falling down the rabbit hole and her dress is kind of poofed out. And that's what we kind of want to see, her little legs sticking out. And I always kind of use where those black lines stop as a guide to where I stop my stitches. All right, so we got our feet sticking out. So we have, it says to sequin, lightly stuff and applique the dress pieces, 29 and 30. So these are kind of like the folds of her dress. So we'll go ahead and just kind of put these on here, and we'll go ahead and stop at 30 for this video. It's a good kind of stopping point. So 29 is going to go here, 30 is going to be the next one. These are just going to be the folds of her dress. They're going to go like this. All right, that is step 1 through 30. I know it doesn't look like a lot because I did steps 1 through 8 beforehand, and the stripes, but those shoes were a pain, right? Anyway, so we have gotten quite a bit done. When we come back, we will hopefully get the dress finished and hopefully get Alice finished. And then once we do that, it's pretty much going to be kind of a lot of just piecing things together. We have a teapot and a hat and the roses, the cards, the book, some little mushrooms and a lamp over here. But it all will come together pretty quickly after this. She's got a pretty little face that we're going to put on there. So we will get that done. Hopefully we will get the next segment finished tomorrow. And then we have an awesome little name card that we'll put on there as well, that's going to hang off for the Queen of Hearts. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the questions below. And I really appreciate you guys hanging in there. I know it took so long for this to come out, but I promise it will be worth it in the end, because this one is going to be super awesome. So if you guys need anything, DM me, let me know. Please click the like and subscribe button. It means a lot to the channel and it really does help us out. Check us out on Instagram, Bucilla Babe, and on Facebook. We are definitely trying to get our presence a little bit bigger on there. So we would really appreciate it. You guys have a great night and we will see you tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.